Hey there guys, so we're going to do something a little bit different today. As many of you are probably aware, it is January 25th. And this is a unscripted, this is a unedited, unadulterated video about mental health awareness and what it means to someone like myself. I'm not a huge fan of jumping onto those little bandwagon things that are usually sponsored events. This is something that's sponsored by Bell Canada, and I'm really not a huge advocate for Bell Canada. There's not a whole lot they do that I get really excited of, but I am a huge advocate for mental health awareness and raising awareness of people who are struggling with mental health disabilities or issues or anything like that. So I feel the best way for me to start this off for you guys is to kind of tell you what it means to me as a person. Why is it an important thing for me? For myself anyway, and something it's been mental health has been a huge part of my life pretty much since day one, even though I didn't know what it was for the longest time. I am diagnosed with clinical depression, so my brain doesn't produce the chemical it needs to help moderate those levels of happiness and stuff like that. So I am supplemented that with a prescribed medication, but that's only been in the last 2 years that's been happening. I'm 25 now, soon to be 26, because I feel old. So for the majority of my life, I haven't been medicated for depression at all, and it's really hard to figure out what's wrong with you when you think that the way you think is normal. For all of high school that I can remember, for all of elementary school I can remember, and for the years following education there, I never really, I enjoyed things, I laughed, I had good times, but I was always bothered and weighed down by stresses. I was abnormally bothered by anxieties and anything like that. And when you live like that for your whole life, it's easy to forget that that's not actually how your brain is supposed to work. And it's not just a situation where you just change the way you think. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, we wouldn't have to talk about mental health and have to really get people to understand the stigmas that are inherent to our society based on ignorance as well as just misinformation, because misinformation out there is everywhere. When I started receiving treatment, it was only as a result of probably the one thing anyone who has dealt with depression or severe anxiety in their life always fears may happen, or for many people does actually happen. I myself attempted suicide 3 years ago now. It was December 27th. I remember the day fairly well. It wasn't a good day for me for many, many reasons. I've been stuck in a dead-end, thankless job for years. I was in a toxic relationship with someone who wasn't really treating me with respect to any degree. I was feeling lost and without direction, and at that point, you just kind of feel like, what's the point in keeping going? Like, if this is what the rest of my life is, why bother continuing? Thankfully, I had friends to help bring me out of that situation, to encourage me to go get help and the treatment I needed. I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't told somebody about what I was going through. And this was stuff I'd been going through for my entire life. Like, not the specifics of the situation so much as the feelings I was feeling and the lostness and just the again, clinical depression, just my brain not functioning the way it's supposed to function. People always say, when one person to another person, this is something I often hear from talking to people who have gone through similar experiences to myself, that when they find out someone is going through depression or having thoughts like that, they say, you've been keeping this to yourself, you've been really brave. And I feel like that's the wrong way to look at it. It's actually more cowardly, I find, to keep it to yourself, to not confide in others that, hey, there is something very wrong with me and I need help. It is much braver for someone to say, I need help because I am feeling lost, I am feeling without purpose, I am feeling without direction, I don't feel anything. Being able to say that to somebody is a lot more difficult than just keeping it to yourself. And this is just observation based on personal experience. Understandably, you can't just walk up to anybody and say, "Hey, I have problems, I need help." But I think everyone in their life has at least a family member or a friend or even a coworker you really trust. There's probably someone in everyone's life that you trust or you can trust. And it can be hard to figure out who those people are sometimes, and I certainly appreciate that. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't know who those people were until 3 years ago, as it were. It wasn't until after that I kind of figured out what exactly my support network was, and I was able to establish that. If you or someone you know is going through that, try to talk to someone about it. Keeping it to yourself is perceived as admirable. I don't think it is. It's self-destructive, it's harmful, and it's a little bit selfish to keep it bottled up inside and not tell anybody what exactly is going on. People need to know if there's something wrong with if you watching this are going through depression and have thoughts of self-harm or ending your life, you need to tell somebody this. This is something you need to get help for, because no one person, I don't care how strong they are, how strong they think they are, no one person can win a battle against their own brain. Which is a weird thing to say, considering the brain is a thing in the head here that's supposed to give you logic and reason and all those things. For some people, it just wasn't designed how it should have been designed. It's not working the way it needs to work so that you don't feel those things. It could also be circumstantial, like I'm sure anyone who is suffering or has suffered from PTSD is well aware that sometimes the circumstances of what has led them to that point is what is the cause of that concern. But if you are feeling any of those feelings, tell somebody. Preferably someone you trust, preferably someone you really care about, because I guarantee it, at the time, in your own mind, feeling like there's no point to going on, there's no reason, there is someone out there who cares about you. And if you were to vanish from their life just like that, just vanish from their world, you would leave a mark on their life. Not a good mark either. I know we all like to think that... Where am I going with that sentence? I don't actually remember off the top of my... Oh, now I remember. I know when I was in the depths of it, I would like to fantasize about what would happen if I'm gone, so I could see who all would care about me, who all would come to my funeral. And that was comforting in a way, but in hindsight, I realized it was insanely selfish, because if I was gone, there's a world of experiences I would not be able to experience. There's a world of joys and sorrows and ups and downs that I'd be missing out on, and a huge part of some of my closest friends would be gone. Like, some of the things that I can bring to this world are unique to myself, and that applies to everybody. Everyone has something unique they can bring to this world, whether it's to benefit the world, to benefit the community, to benefit themselves. As long as it's not detrimental to anyone else, you have a lot to bring to the world, and you should not only bring that, you should foster that, you should carry that into perpetuity if you can. Like, do it as long as you can. Do that thing you love as long as you can. Be that thing you want to be. You have every right to live and to be happy and be successful. And if you are feeling depressed and lost, dear God, tell somebody. It doesn't do anybody any good to not know. Because if you do decide to take your life, people will know you're gone. And if you do that out of spite, I'm sorry. That's a terrible way to think about it. If you're doing it because you're tired of feeling things, I know that feeling well. You want to just end it because you feel too much and you don't want to feel anymore. I promise you this. When you're at the bottom, and that ledge is the only thing you see, and beyond that ledge is oblivion, it's really tempting to go. Don't go. There's too much you can bring into this world. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the rant I got, actually. Yeah, Yeah, I'd like to say I have more to say on the subject, and it's a hugely important topic to me, and I really think, I mean, I don't like the idea of just a mental health awareness day. I think we're aware enough of mental health. We shouldn't be aware of mental health. We should be trying to solve the issue any way we can, every day we can. I myself have several people in my life who are going through tough times. They have strong feelings of self-harm or something like that, and I endeavor every day to try to enrich their lives to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect. I'm not, as you guys on the channel know, I'm not the best at following through on obligations sometimes. But I do the best I can, and I sincerely hope that for those people who I have touched in that way, that I have improved their lives somewhat. My hope is that they will then go on to help someone else. I hope if you've watched this, you feel inclined to try to help somebody in your life who is worried about this sort of thing or is affected by this, and have them help them to help others. We live in a strange, backwards time these days, especially in many parts of the world. You've got all over the Middle East, there's insurrection, there's terrorism, there's social policies in progress are moving backwards. You have dictatorships ruling small peoples with iron fists. You have slavery happening in parts of the world. Let's not even go into other, like, awful problems. Like, things seem awful now, and it's only through the actions of us helping each other that we can get through this. I really believe mental health is something we shouldn't just talk about one day. It's something we should be aware of all the time. It's something that I've kind of dedicated my life towards trying to solve the problem. The problem of why do we have depressed people and why are they taking their lives? I hope in my lifetime someone out there, if not me, someone out there will find the solution to this problem, will bring these people back out of the darkness so that we don't have to read a headline about someone taking their life at too young an age, too old an age, because they felt there was no hope. I sincerely hope someone out there can solve this problem. And I think someone will someday. Hopefully in my lifetime, if not in the future. I'm not an overly optimistic person 9 out of 10 times, but this is one thing I fundamentally believe, that we will beat this someday. Soon, hopefully, but in the future, definitely. I actually just, on a semi-related note, today I got tattoo work done, and while one of them there is still recovering, I can't show you guys yet. This one, I had to take the bandage off because it was cutting off circulation in my finger, but if any of you are familiar with the semicolon movement, I don't know where it started. I honestly haven't researched enough to know. Ending your life is a sentence. Ending your life with a period is the end of it. It's done. Choose a semicolon. Change the direction. Continue the statement. I have it marked on my body so that all the people who are going through this know that I am someone who's gone through this, and I still go through it on a daily basis. As things stand currently, there is no beating depression, there is just managing it. I am managing it 9 out of 10 times. I have my days, I'm not going to pretend I don't, and I'm sure anyone out there who has this is in the same boat. If you are in that boat, keep strong. It will get better someday. Reach out, talk to your friends, enjoy your life. But that's the thing. Your life. Ending your life is pointless and redundant. So keep it going, keep strong. If anyone out there you know is going through similar, reach out to them. Help them if they don't want your help, respect that. Some people don't want a horde of people helping with this. If they do want your help, give them the best help you are capable of. And for everyone who doesn't know enough about mental health or dismisses it as being all in your head, I highly suggest you get some education. Learn about that which you don't understand or, in some cases, mock. It's detrimental to everybody to dismiss it as an issue. Ignorance is often the enemy. And that applies to many things. This is just one of those many things. So I'm at almost 15 minutes of rambling now, so I'm going to cut myself off here. If you guys want to leave comments in the thing below, I might disable the comment bar on this. I might not. If I don't, please leave links, if you have any links to some great resources for receiving treatment or finding help or signs to look out for. Anything you can do to help spread the message that there is someone out there who cares for you, do it. Sharing personal stories, if you're comfortable with that. Not everyone is. I get that. It's very intimate. It's very personal. I personally believe sharing my story helps to let people realize that they're not alone in this sort of thing. But that's just my view on things. I don't presume to know what it's like to you. If you can, please share this video or other similar videos, because I'm sure there are many, many others out there with other people who are afraid while they're going through these times. There is someone out there who cares about you. Please don't end your life. Get help. It's not weak to say I need help. It's much stronger to say I can't do this alone. So, thanks so much for listening, guys. I'm getting just a little emotional right now because intimate subject to me as well. So, be sure to check out on Tuesdays when I upload my vlogs, Fridays when Sarah uploads. Until the next video, hopefully I'll see you guys later.